we will have an opportunity to learn about Illinois Works and the programs this DCO office oversees. The target audience for this program are individuals accountable for identifying and or completing applications for funding opportunities. In this case, the NOFO and reference is the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship programs NOFO that was released at the end of July. Job titles that may be included, and it's a good audience for this webinar, are program administrators, grant writers, fund developers, program managers, and program coordinators. My name is Norman Ruano, and I'm the Deputy Director of the Office of Illinois Works. For over 25 years, I've had the privilege of working in workforce development, most of it from the programmatic side on the ground, particularly with colleges and universities. But now I oversee the Office of Illinois Works at DCO, and it's a privilege to be here. Today with me, there'll be two other presenters that will be delivering some of this content. I want to introduce first Monica Pruitt. If you could please go ahead and introduce yourself, Monica.
Glad to. Good morning, everyone. My name is Monica Pruitt. I am the Downstate Pre-Apprenticeship Grant Manager for Illinois Works, and I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, Monica. Today also we'll be presenting together with Dan Martinez. Dan Martinez, if you could please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. I look forward to speaking with you later today. I'm one of the grant managers for the Office of Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program team as well.
Thank you, Dan. Illinois Works has a team of passionate professionals committed to supporting the pre-apprenticeship program. The current team consists of myself, who are Deputy Director of the Office of Illinois Works, Dan Martinez, who you just heard from, Monica Pruitt, who you also heard from, and we have also Dr. Anna Bedard, Training Analyst and Program Coach. Anna, if you could please say hi.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you.
We also have Dr. Jeff Doolittle. He is also a training analyst and program coach. Jeff, if you could please say hi to the audience.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Glad to be with you.
We also have Carlita Alston, training analyst and program coach. Dr. Carlita Alston.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you with us today.
Thank you, Carlita. And then we also have Dr. Gia Suggs, who's the professional development lead and training analyst and program coach. Gia, if you could please say hi to our audience today.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome.
So besides these colleagues that have joined me today to deliver this webinar, we also have various teams in the Office of Illinois Works that work in the different programs that we will be talking about today. The Apprenticeship Initiative, the Bid Credit Program, and Career Services. They all have teams of professionals dedicated to this effort. In terms of our course description today, Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan in his commitment to expanding equity in Illinois' construction workforce. This exciting initiative creates opportunities for Illinois businesses, communities, and families throughout the state. During this course, you'll be provided with an overview of Illinois Works, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, and the Illinois Works 3 key programs, and more importantly, how all of this works together to support the construction industry and also to ensure there's opportunity in that industry for all Illinoisans. In terms of our objectives today, by the end of this training, you'll be able to articulate the mission of DCO, describe the relationship between DCO and Illinois Works, describe the 3 key programs implemented as a result of the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act that was passed in 2019 by the General Assembly, review the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program Notice of Funding Opportunity that was recently released. We're going to go over it a little bit today, but then go in depth into it in the next webinar scheduled for this Thursday. Please keep in mind that this webinar is being recorded and will be made available for review at the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO landing page. I hope you have had an opportunity to go to the landing page. If you haven't, we are now providing a link in the chat for the landing page for you. That's where we will have not only the recording, but the opportunity for you to also enroll in other webinars and TA sessions we're going to be delivering as part of this NOFO. You will also find all the information there for the NOFO, including the documents to be used if you plan to apply, and any questions and answers that we already have there based on what potential applicants are presently asking. So I encourage you to visit that NOFO landing page and familiarize yourself with it. Are there any questions before we proceed to the next section of this webinar? If there are questions, please feel free now to unmute your line or post your question in the chat.
No, there are no questions in the chat.
Thank you, Gia. Okay, moving on to section 2.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So there are some individuals from our college that can't get into the webinar. Can someone let more individuals into the webinar, please?
Yes, please. Are they in the waiting room?
I
Is
believe
that
so.
okay. Can we please make sure that we let them in? Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So moving on to section 2, one of the key things that obviously we want to ensure is that we know who's in the room. We have already introduced ourselves, and also do some exercises here with some of the technology we're going to be using for interactivity. So I don't see them being allowed in the webinar yet. Gia, do you know who can allow them in?
Yeah, we don't have a notice that they're waiting in the waiting room. So I am not sure that they are actually waiting for this session.
Can you put the link, the direct link for them to join in the chat so that that can be sent to them for them to join?
Yep, I can do that.
Thank you. Okay, great. So section 2, after the end of this section, you'll learn about the features of WebEx and functions to fully participate in training. And more importantly, identify what you hope to learn from this training today. Here at the state of Illinois, we use WebEx as the system to deliver these types of learning events. So Michelle, we have placed the link for the direct link for them to join in the chat. If you could please just send it to them so that they can use it to join, that would be great. Thank you. So when it comes to WebEx, I don't know how many of you have used WebEx. A little similar to Zoom, a little different than Zoom, but as always, there is a mute and unmute button. Obviously, you can see it at the bottom of the screen. There's a start video. This is for your own camera. We are the ones recording the webinar that will be made available. So this is not for the webinar's recording. This is just your camera. You can raise your hand, obviously, if you want to ask any questions, and we're monitoring that. There's also obviously emojis if you want to have any positive or constructive reaction to anything we're saying. There's also the chat feature, which we're using extensively today to share resources with you, but also to field questions you may have. And then there's a groups feature we're not using for this particular event. One thing to keep in mind, just because we want to ensure that we have a good learning experience, please keep your line muted at all times. The line can be unmuted in particular points during the webinar, and we'll let you know, particularly during question and answer sessions or group sessions at the end of each of the sections of this webinar. If you have a comment or a question, please share it in the chat or mute your line again. But let's ensure that this is a very interactive exercise, and we will try to answer as many questions as possible obviously within the time frame that we have. Second of all, we're going to be using a technology called Mentimeter. This is what we will use for interactivity. So if you could please now go to www.menti.com. You can access it either through your phone or through your computer, and Once you get there, use code A276-2295. Again, www.mentee.com. And the code to enter is A276-2295. We're going to be using this technology today for interactivity for this webinar. I'll just give you guys a minute here before we start with our very first activity at Mentimeter, which is going to be your introductions here just to get to know who you are. We already see some people joining, so that's great. We're just going to give it another minute so that we can have other people also join. So again, if you could please go to mentee.com, www.mentee.com, code A276-2295, so that you can join for this activity, which is going to be introductions, so that we can get to know who is with us here today. Jeff, how many people do we have that have already joined Mentee?
Looks like we have one so far.
Okay. We have a couple more joining. Okay, good. So if you could please provide your name, organization, or agency you represent, the role that you play there, and your geographic location. So Jackie, good to see you here. Pekin, Illinois, with Illinois Foundation of Skills. Michelle, thanks for joining us with Lincoln Land Community College, Grant Director. If the rest of you could please join Mentimeter and provide your information, that would be great. We also have Ayana from EDDR Foundation, case manager. Anybody else? We'd love to know who you are, who you're representing today, and where you're located. Mark, Kewanee, Illinois. Thanks for joining us today, Mark. You have Laura from Effingham, Illinois. What organization do you represent, Laura and Mark? Unit 40 School District, thank you. I think we have 5 individuals that have already indicated who they are. We probably, there's probably good 3 or 4 more that still need to log on. We just need to make sure that you're able to log on, because from here on, we're going to be using this technology for a variety of different things during the course, during the webinar. So just want to make sure everybody's able to join. Okay, so Mark is an independent consultant. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Also, if you haven't tried it, you can join from your phone or your desktop, depending on how you're logging in. Either way.
Okay, great. So moving on, we need to continue to move on through the webinar. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. We're gonna practice some more using Mentimeter. The next question will be, what do you hope to learn today? If you could please answer that in Mentimeter, that would be great. What do you hope to learn today? We'll give it a minute so that people can answer the question in Mentimeter. You want to learn more about the program and the funding opportunity? We're definitely going to talk about the program today and touch a little bit on the funding opportunity. We are going to focus exclusively on the funding opportunity this coming Thursday when we do another webinar, the Bidders Conference this Thursday again at 9:30. Anybody else? What else would you like to learn today? More about the application process and the funding opportunity. As I mentioned, we are going to cover some of it today, but most of that will be covered on Thursday. We want to make sure that interested organizations have an understanding about what Illinois Works is all about before they go into the details of the funding opportunity. Best practices for effective application completion. Certainly we'll discuss that today, particularly understanding what the program is, what it is that we're looking for, how it operates. That's what we're going to mainly be covering today. But again, Thursday we'll cover the rest. So there's someone obviously here that is a previous awardee. Awardees that joined the network the first year of the program are now required to apply again through this process. So some of them are present today. Application process, application completion tips, and more about the program. Again, we'll be talking about some of that today. So you're certainly in the right place. Interested to know what the needs of the grant are and to see if it is appropriate for secondary students. Certainly we'll discuss that. High school-based programs are programs that we run. Is one of the models that we use, so it'll be good for you to definitely ask questions as once we get there. So thanks again for your responses. Moving on now, if you have any questions after we finish this webinar, please don't hesitate to send comments, feedback, or questions to the email address being provided for you on the screen, ceo.illinoisworks@illinois.gov. We'll be more than happy to respond to any questions or comments you may have. Just keep in mind that any questions or comments you make related to the NOFO will provide you an official response, and then that will be part of the Q&A on the NOFO landing page. Any questions right now before I proceed to the next section of this webinar? If you have any questions or comments, feel free to just post them in the chat or unmute your line so that we can answer them before we move on.
Yeah, there are no additional questions right now in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Gia. So moving on to section 3. By the end of this section, you'll be able to describe the role of the $45 billion capital plan in the creation of Illinois Works. That was actually the trigger that created this bureau, this office, and all of these programs. Explain the role of the Illinois General Assembly regarding the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act. Describe the unique characteristics of Illinois Works on the Illinois Works Innovative Workforce Development Model. Articulate the mission of DCEO. Describe the relationship between DCEO and Illinois Works. List the Illinois Works 3 key programs and identify the Illinois Works goals. Let's start with the governor's economic plan. So Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan, which is called Rebuild Illinois. In this plan, which is focused on rebuilding roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, community centers, and a variety of other things, colleges, universities throughout the state, has a commitment to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce. Later on today, we're going to talk about some of the stats, and you'll be able to see why this is so relevant for the workforce. This is a top priority of Governor Pritzker's 5-year economic plan. With this new capital funding set to pave the way for tens of thousands of jobs in the next decade, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act was intentionally designed to increase equity and opportunity in capital construction projects. Capital construction projects are construction projects that are paid for and by the state of Illinois or any agency of the state of Illinois. The money could be spent directly by a state agency or given as a grant, as a loan to other cities and agencies throughout the state, or community-based organizations for that matter. The intention is to reinvigorate the workforce in Illinois for the future. We are now providing in the chat a link to this economic plan. If you want to read through it, you'll be able to see Governor Pritzker's focus here on economic development. Illinois Works in itself, it's an innovative workforce development model. It has the components that create job demand, talent pipeline, and also incentives to hire and retain. As I mentioned earlier, this system was created as a result of the Illinois Work Jobs Program Act, and it was very thoughtful and intentionally created. Typically, workforce development models have one, perhaps even two of these key components. Any combination of these would substantially impact the workforce. Illinois Works has all of the components to create a comprehensive response to workforce development at all levels. Illinois Works is one of a kind initiative, and it's a unique position to make a huge difference. One key thing that I always like to mention in talking about this model is that Illinois Works is not just a pre-apprenticeship program. A lot of times organizations are used to seeing workforce development programs being training programs. Illinois Works is a lot more than a training program. It has a demand component to create job opportunities. It has the training component for a talent pipeline, but it also has incentives for contractors to hire and retain our graduates. So we will talk about those and how they work together so that you can see the full picture of what Illinois Works is all about. DCEO, obviously the Office of Illinois Works is a bureau of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. You could access the DCEO website through the link that is being provided for you on the screen and also in the chat. And you could go and see the economic development plan there and be able to download it. If you want to just grab it from the link that is being provided in the chat, you could also certainly do that. We just want to make sure we give you as many resources as you may need to really understand what this is all about and how it works. Now, here's an important question for those of us that have been in workforce development for a while. What has the potential to make a workforce development initiative vulnerable? There are great ideas. There are a lot of initiatives that come up through time. As I mentioned, I've been doing this for 25 years, seen so many of those come out, but what has the potential of making those vulnerable? And the answer here is the funding. A lot of times workforce initiatives do not have sustainable funding. In fact, there's a lot of initiatives that I've seen that were great through the years that lasted 1 or 2 years, maybe 5 years, and that's a long time. A lot of them just went away after a couple of years. And that's unfortunate because then obviously it's hard to create an infrastructure and a system to be able to deliver the needed services. Illinois Works has solved this potential vulnerability by providing a sustainable funding mechanism. Illinois Works is here to stay. We are in a position to do something unique, innovative, and highly impactful for years to come. Illinois Works has a dedicated appropriation line item so that every year we get the funding to renew grants, to continue to expand, to continue to ensure that these programs are sustained through time and have a significant impact in communities throughout the state through time. So DCO and Illinois Works. Let's take a deeper dive into the relationship between the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the Office of Illinois Works, and the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act. You can now access DCEO by a link that we're providing in the chat for you. To access it, you just click on the link and then click on About Us. And under About Us, you'll be able to see a variety of different programs and offices that exist at DCEO. One of those obviously is Illinois Works. You can just click on that one and be able to go into all of the information related to the Illinois Works system. So for those of you that have been around in workforce development, you know the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity is the main workforce provider agency in the state of Illinois. In fact, we are the main funder of workforce development initiatives in the state of Illinois. The Illinois Department of Commerce's mission is to support and maintain a climate that enables a strong economy for their customers. The customers are taxpayers, businesses, workers, and communities. By keeping and attracting and growing businesses, maintaining a skilled workforce, and enhancing communities so that the climate here is one in which businesses, small and large, and their workers can succeed to the greatest extent possible. That is the mission of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, better known as DCEO. So DCEO delivers impactful and efficient programs and services to ensure that that mission stays relevant for all of us in the state of Illinois. Again, you can see all the different bureaus and programs that we have, billions and billions of dollars being invested every year back into communities, businesses, small businesses, workforce development, and such. Obviously, DCEO's Office of Illinois Works being one of those. Again, you can click on the Illinois Works link there, and it will take you to a variety of different resources so that you can see exactly what it is that we do once we're done with this webinar. So using Mentimeter again, let's just stay engaged. Again, thanks, Carlita, for the information. Website, www.menti.com. The code is 8276-2295. Who does DCEO serve? Who do we serve here at DCEO? Based on the information I just provided, who do we serve? If you could please provide some responses, I would appreciate it. Anybody, who do we serve based on the information that we just provided? Illinois residents, yes, that is very true. We provide a lot of services to Illinois residents directly and indirectly. Directly, we do a lot of workforce programming. We fund a lot of programming throughout the state to serve those Illinois residents. We also, yes, engage with communities. We provide lots of funding to communities for infrastructure and other programs, but also engage them like with this program to ensure that their community members are being taken care of in their businesses. We also serve obviously businesses. They are the employers in the state of Illinois. We work with businesses, be it construction or other businesses. The trades definitely work directly with the trades. Business owners, we have significant amount of resources for them. Today, you will learn about the resources that we have for businesses from the perspective of businesses in the construction industry. So it's a combination of all of these parties working together. Unions and non-unions, yes, we work with labor, we work with unions, we work with non-union programs, youth, yes, nonprofits, we certainly partner. Nonprofits are strategic partners for us in the delivery and development of these programs. So is education. I haven't seen anybody here mention education, but obviously education is fundamental. Someone mentioned workforce. Yes, all of these are different parties that we work with, taxpayers in general, businesses, workers, communities. All of those are different populations, different stakeholding communities that we serve. So thanks again for engaging. Now, if you clicked on Illinois Works, it will lead you to the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act webpage. You will be able to see there the various resources that are available. As I mentioned earlier, Illinois Works is an innovative model to reinvigorate the workforce for the future. To the right of the webpage, you will see a link to each of the programs, the Illinois Works programs, as well as an option called Contact Us, which will provide you with the Illinois Works email address. At the bottom of the page, you will see a virtual assistant available This is similar to a help function. You can click on it and search for relevant information. The other thing I want to mention about this website that is very important is that we added a gateway there for contractors, because obviously contractors are the ones that ultimately hire and retain our graduates, and they're the ones that execute projects throughout construction projects throughout the state. So we created in that same website a gateway for contractors with lots of information for them to be able to learn about Illinois Works and how it applies to their business. So the Office of Illinois Works, as I mentioned, Governor Pritzker is committed to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce. This is driven by data that shows that for too long, the construction industry and the trades have not been equitably accessible for diverse communities, with fewer than 10% of the best paid apprenticeships extended to women and minorities. As you know, in the state of Illinois, women are almost 51% of the population, and minorities represent a very large portion of the state's population, but less than 10% of the best paid apprenticeships are held by women or minorities. The Illinois Works Jobs Program Act was intentionally designed to increase equity and opportunity in capital construction projects. The passing of the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act led to the creation of the Office of Illinois Works, a new bureau within DCEO tasked with the responsibility of implementing the Illinois Works key programs. So as I mentioned before, and we'll talk a little bit more in a minute, it is the passing of this Illinois Works Jobs Program Act in 2019 that resulted in Illinois Works, the creation of this bureau, the Office of Illinois Works at DCEO. So the General Assembly passed the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act on June 28, 2019. And through the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, the General Assembly appropriated funds for the pre-apprenticeship program. And I mentioned earlier, that a lot of times there are great workforce initiatives, but the funding is not sustainable. That is very different with Illinois Works. This is a sustainable funding mechanism for years to come as part of the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act. So, and then obviously they also appropriated billions of dollars for Rebuild Illinois, which is the construction projects that are being executed throughout the state of Illinois. So the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act is a statewide initiative to ensure that all Illinois residents have access to state capital projects and careers, including in the construction industry and the building trades. The goal is to provide contracting and employment opportunities to historically underrepresented populations. And I want to ensure that we clearly define here what an underrepresented population is from the perspective of women of the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act. So from that perspective, the underrepresented populations that we target are women, people of color, and veterans. That does not mean that those are the only people that we serve through the Illinois Works program. We serve everybody. However, those are the target populations that we are mandated to focus on, although not exclusively. Accessing the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, you can certainly get a copy of this law if you're interested. We are now providing a link in the chat for you if you want to read through the pages of the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act. And we're also making available to you the link where you can go and find it. So it will be, and we're going to transfer, as far as I know, Jeff, you're going to do the file transfer now for them to be able to download it right from their screens if they're interested in doing that, right? So you have a pop-up that came up on the screen. In a minute, you'll be able to see the file there. You can just download the file right there from your screen if you are interested in reading the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act. We'll just give it a minute and then get going. Okay, great. This law created not only the Office of Illinois Works, But at the same time, this offers with the support and partnership of communities, the building trades, and the construction industry, we are tasked with delivering 3 key programs. The first one is the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative. The second one is the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, which is the main focus of our conversation today and in the next couple of weeks in relation to the NOFO. And the third one is the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program. Today, we're going to be covering each of these programs in detail so that you can see how they work together like pieces of a puzzle in this innovative workforce development model. As I mentioned, Illinois Works is not just a pre-apprenticeship program, it's actually a whole system. So what are the goals? What are the ultimate goals of the implementation of Illinois Works? First is provide a career pathway for residents in disadvantaged communities. Second, provide eligible apprentices with the skills for lifelong job security. Third, promote construction as a viable job industry for women and minority communities. Provide the construction industry with a consistent and skilled workforce for generations to come. And last but not least, create new partnerships between state agencies and community organizations. So obviously, you are here today because of that. It's our strategic focus to ensure that all of this work is done in partnership with organizations and the community, located in the community that can actually deliver these services and provide a better standard of living for the residents in their communities. Using Mentimeter, again, if you don't mind, ensuring that you stay logged into Mentimeter with code 82762295. Please answer the following question. If Illinois Works is successful in achieving its goals, what impact will it have on Illinois communities? So if we are successful at achieving our goals, what impact do you think we will have in Illinois communities and your communities? We'll give it a minute so that people can answer those questions. Greater financial stability, great point. Certainly, greater financial stability not only for the individuals that participate in the programs and make careers in construction, but also for their communities, their towns throughout the state, right? Create a more skilled and diverse workforce. Yes, we need to ensure that we have a skilled workforce for decades to come for construction with everything that is being built and done in the state of Illinois, but we also need to make sure that it's more diverse and equitable. Anybody else? Job access, yes, certainly. That's very important. We are creating we're doing a lot of construction. We need to make sure that communities and people in those communities have access to those jobs. Make people more from underserved populations in these fields. Uh, better representation of people for underserved populations in these fields. That is correct. You will see statistics soon that will show why this is so important for the state construction labor force. Career pathways for targeted populations and others. Yes, certainly. It's very, very important for us that they have careers, not only jobs. They can make a long-term career in a particular field so that their potential for growth and wages and income, it's a lot more sustainable and higher. Skilled workforce engage, high school students, create new housing. All of that is correct. By having a better skilled workforce, we're able to, invest, execute the projects that the government is investing on throughout the state. Uh, Lifting people out of poverty, that is fundamental here. By people having good careers, well-paid careers, they can lift themselves out of poverty, their families, their communities. More access for communities of color in the construction field. That is definitely correct. One of our target populations is people of color throughout the state of Illinois. Creating partnerships. Yes, certainly. None of this happens without all of us creating partnerships and working together to making this happen. Developing the economy. Yes. Imagine the state of Illinois is investing $65 billion in construction projects in the next uh, 5 to 7 years. And like a person that works in construction told me, someone has to build it, right? It's not enough to have the money and to have the plan. Someone actually has to do it. And that obviously develops the economy. It develops our whole state of Illinois, which is so important for us and the governor also. Help uplift communities, less violence, better jobs. I mean, isn't that great? If we're able to give people opportunity for work, provide for themselves, that helps stabilize communities that a lot of times suffer of a variety of different social problems. Work can be very beneficial for them, their families, and their communities. Economic development, certainly. Benefits for business executives, managers. Obviously, everybody benefits with all of these investments. We'll talk in a minute about some of the outcomes of these efforts, but this is all correct. So thank you very much for participating. We appreciate it. So as you can see, as you have all shared, as I shared earlier, the success of this program is critical for communities, businesses in those communities, and those employed by those businesses. Together, we are in a very unique position to make a significant difference for the state of Illinois. We're now going to do some practice round to see how well we're doing in understanding what Illinois Works is all about, see if there are any questions that we can answer. So if you could please, again, join Mentimeter, select Join Quiz, and then there will be a variety of questions that will be framed as a true or false question. Once a question appears on the screen, you will have a few minutes or a few seconds to consider the question. Then the options will appear, and then you have 10 seconds to enter your response. So if you could please make sure that you join the quiz and you can be ready here to participate. You can either submit your name. If you don't, you can submit the name of a character, or the system will recommend one for you. Just make sure that you remember your character to see how the competition is going. Okay, so let's just give it a minute here to be ready to do this quiz and see who wins this competition here. So let's start with the first question. Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's commitment to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce. Is that true or false? True or false? We don't seem to have any results coming in yet. Should we? It says that they're unable to select anything. There is no way to answer. Do we know what's going on? Okay, how about now? If you could please try to answer now. Okay, good. So we have 6 of them that said true. That is absolutely correct. True is the correct answer for question 1. Question number 2, Illinois Works' top priority of the governor's 5-year economic plan resulting from his historic 25 billion capital plan. Is that true or false? Is that true or false? Actually, it is false because it is a $45 billion capital plan, not a $25 billion capital plan. You can access the Illinois Economic Development Plan from the DCO website. Is that true or false? We have some people already leading the pack. We'll get back in a minute about who's leading here after the third question. You can access the Illinois Economic Plan from the DCO website. Is that true or false? That is actually true. The DCO mission is to support the agenda of the local government. Is that true or false? Okay, so that's false. That is absolutely correct. It is not to support the mission, the agenda of the local government. So we have Beyonce now leading the pack and is right behind. So we are doing a good job here answering these questions. Next question. Illinois Works is an innovative model to reinvigorate our workforce for the future. True or false? That's an easy one. Everybody got it right. That is true. Um, so we still have Beyonce leading the pack here. The Illinois Works Jobs Program Act was intentionally designed to take advantage of the thousands of capital construction jobs in Illinois. True or false? That is correct. That is a true response. Thank you much. Next one, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act is a statewide initiative to ensure that all Illinois residents have access to state capital projects and careers. True or false? That is correct. It's a true response there. Next question, about 25% of apprenticeships go to women and minorities in the construction industry and the trades in the state of Illinois. True or false? That is actually a false statement. Only about 10% of apprenticeships go to women and minorities in the state of Illinois. An average construction and trade jobs pay $32 an hour to those that successfully graduate and achieve journey worker status. Is that true or false? That is true. Thank you very much for participating. Let's see who won the competition here. Anne. Congratulations to Anne. Beyonce was number 2, Sebastian 3, Maverick number 4, Elsa 5, Hyde 6, Bodie 7, and then Nemo 8. That's great. Thanks for participating. Great job. We appreciate you engaging with us in this activity. Any questions before we move on to the last section? After the last section, we are going to give a 5-minute break so that you can have an opportunity to take a little break, and then we'll come back 5 minutes after that. So I'm going to go through now the section 4 of this webinar, which is construction and the building trades data. After this section, you'll be able to identify overarching disparities with respect to women and minorities in the building and construction trades, identify disparities on compensation in the building and construction trades, identify group-specific data per trade, and explain the economic impact of increased equity, and list the 3 key Illinois Works programs. So one of the key things, obviously, is why we're doing this. Why is it that it's so relevant and important to do this? In this section, we will review the data relevant to Illinois construction and the building trades and be able to see why this is so important. So disparity data. Unfortunately, data shows that for too long, the construction industry in the trades have not been accessible for diverse communities, with fewer than 10% of the best paid apprenticeships extended to women and minorities. The Illinois Works Program Act, as I mentioned earlier, it's an expansion of apprenticeship opportunities that will not only help boost employment and wages for more Illinois residents, but will also yield significant benefit for the economy at large, since the construction sector is expected to grow at a rate of 12% in the next 10 years. So it's one of the most active and dynamic sectors in the Illinois economy. Not only does it need workers, but it's important that those workers represent the demographic profile of the state. Let us dive deeper into this data so that we can have a better idea. So Governor Pritzker launched his 5-year Rebuild Illinois Capital Program in 2019. Let's start with data in 2021 when Illinois Works was first launched so that we can see where we are with that data. According to the Economic Modeling Specialist International, also known as EMSI, estimates of 2021 show that there are 221,467 people employed in construction in the state of Illinois. Women account for only 3.3% of that amount. I mentioned earlier that women represent almost 51% of the population in the state of Illinois, but only account for 3.3% in construction in the trades. That's approximately 7,300 women. This is actually down a bit from the 2019 Illinois Department of Labor data. So instead of going up, it's going down. For example, a higher percentage of women were working, and then it's to make things even worse in terms of disparity, women are more likely to be employed in lower paying trades. So that's a very important point. So give you an example, okay? Construction laborers, women represent 3.8%. Painters, construction and maintenance, 7.4%. If you notice, and it's very important to keep in mind, is that women were working as painters in maintenance trade at an average of $22 an hour. However, approximately 1% were employed in higher paying trades like plumbers, pipe fitters, where they earn a wage of $43. So in trades that pay almost double what laborers earn, women are only 1.5%, right? So as you can see, not only are they seriously underrepresented, they are also concentrated in trades that pay the least in the construction industry. The compensation for high-paying trades is almost double those of lower-paying trades, with attract more women. So women are concentrated in the lower-paid trades. Let's talk about subgroups for all construction trades. According to the U.S. Department of Labor Registered Apprenticeship Program Information Database System, also known as RAPIDS, as of June 30, 2021, there were 13,548 registered apprentices in the state of Illinois. The group with the highest representation was white males at 80%, followed by Hispanic males. To clarify, Hispanics can be of any race in this data set. Blacks and women had, the lowest representation, 7.1% and 4.1% respectively. Now we're talking about apprentices. Before we were talking about just in general, all the workers in construction. But when you look at apprentices in specific, you will notice that males are 96.8% of all carpenters. I'm sorry, looking at the trades of all trades, males are 80% and women are 7.1 and 4.3. 4.3% for women and 7.1% for African Americans. Looking at the carpenters, as of June 30, 2021, there were 2,339 apprentices in the carpentry trade in Illinois. 81% were white males, followed by Hispanic males at 26.1%. There's a huge disparity there for women, blacks, and other races. Moving on to electricians, as of of the 2,415 active apprentices for electricians, females, blacks, and other races represented less than 16% of all those apprentices. Again, women are almost 51% of the population, and African Americans are 13% of the state's population. As a relevant note, electricians have the second highest hourly wage in the construction industry at almost $40 an hour. Plumbers, pipe fitters, steam fitters, plumbers can earn the highest wage of the trades. Blacks, females, and other races represent less than 13% of all plumbers. Construction laborers. For construction laborers, females have the highest representation comparatively at 8.6%. As a note, this trade has among the lowest wages in the industry. So as you can see, again, making the point of equity is the fact that not only are women seriously underrepresented, large portions of women that do work in construction work in the lowest paid trades. So let's talk a little bit about Illinois and the U.S. labor, labor data, U.S. Department of Labor data. According to the Illinois Department of Labor and the U.S. Department of Labor, registered apprenticeship partner information data based systems, which is RAPIDS. Here's the percent of apprentices employed in the state's construction industry by group. At the same time, but more importantly, I want to bring to your attention the last column, which is highlighted in red. You will notice that women then for 2023 were 6.1% of all apprentices in construction. However, in FY23, Illinois Works served 25.1% women, almost 4% more, 4 times more than the representation in the apprentice trades. We are obviously preparing women to enter those apprentices. Our numbers at Illinois Works will make a difference in those apprenticeship programs for years to come. At the same time, African Americans were 8.2% of all apprentices. In 2023, they represent 60% of all pre-apprentices in our system. Hispanics were 28.8% of all apprentices in construction. They represent 20% of our pre-apprentices, so we'll help sustain numbers for Hispanics. American Indian and Alaska Native were 0.3% of all apprentices in our system. They're double 0.6%. And Asians are about even in the apprentices as they are in our system. Veterans is where we are a little low. That's one of the reasons why this NOFO also focuses on serving apprentices. They are 4.5% of all apprentices in the state and only 1.4% of our pre-apprentices in the Illinois Works system. But as you can see, in general, the Illinois Works system is really changing the dynamics of the labor force in construction, and that's what this NOFO and this program is here to do. As this table demonstrates, there are several groups underrepresented in the Illinois construction industry and the building trades. Given this reality, the last column of data from program year 2023 clearly demonstrates that progress is being made through the Illinois Works program. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the evidence is clear that the construction industry and the trades have not been accessible for diverse communities, with women and blacks being the most underrepresented in the state. However, as the previous slide demonstrates, with this continued capital funding set to pave the way for tens of thousands of jobs over the next decade, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act was intentionally designed to increase equity and opportunities in capital construction projects. We know for a fact that these types of initiatives and this type of training have significant impact not only to individuals' lives, but also the economy at large. On average, jobs in construction and the building trades pay $18 per hour to apprentices enrolled in DOL registered apprenticeship programs and $32 per hour to those that successfully graduate and achieve journey worker status. That is a good wage. It's not only a living wage, but it's a thriving wage in the state of Illinois. Investments in job training in the construction industry also result in significant long-term economic impact for the state, totaling approximately $1.2 billion. In fact, for every dollar invested in construction job training, Illinois obtains 11 in social and economic returns. As a result, Illinois Works is focused on achieving outcomes for the Illinois residents and for the communities throughout the state. And this is going to be a very important point that we're going to circle back in a future webinar, and I encourage you to join. The Illinois Works grant system is a performance-based grant system, and it's performance-based because we're focused on delivering outcomes for the individuals that engage, but also for their communities. And as a result, everything that we do related to our grant system is outcome based. This data demonstrates the urgent need for statewide programs that have the potential to produce system level changes. The DCO Office of Illinois Works is excited to be instrumental in this critical work by delivering the three key programs we mentioned earlier. They are the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, and the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program. During the next three sections of this webinar, we will have an opportunity to review each of those programs in more detail. Any questions before we proceed to taking our 5-minute break and then coming back to the other sections of the webinar? Any questions in the chat, Gia?
So there is nope, no questions in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. We will take a 5-minute break and be back at 10:41. Thank you.
All right. Well, hello again, everyone. Again, my name is Dan Martinez. I'm one of the grant managers with the Office of Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. I hope you all had a chance to stand up and stretch, maybe get a drink of water before or during that break. We will now begin with section 5 of the webinar. We're going to go through the various Illinois Works programs in these next couple of sections. So with the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, by the end of this section, our goal is for you to be able to describe the Apprenticeship Initiative, explain how the Apprenticeship Initiative contributes to a comprehensive approach to workforce development, summarize the initiative's key components, and identify the current status of our apprenticeship initiative. So again, these are the 3 key programs for the Office of Illinois Works: the apprenticeship program, the pre-apprenticeship program, and the bid credit program. And we're going to start with the apprenticeship initiative. So this is the program that opens the doors of opportunity into the construction industry and the building trades. So you can see in our interlocking puzzle here that it is the job demand portion of the Office of Illinois Works. So the way it opens the doors of opportunity is by looking at public works projects with an estimated cost of $500,000 or more, which includes capital grants, loans, and direct capital contracts and awards. So it operates under what's called the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative Emergency Rules. If you would like to read those emergency rules, a copy of the PDF is being made available to you as a download on your screen. And remember, we will be able to provide the PDFs and links to all attendees of this webinar as well. So if you're not able to download it here for whatever reason, we can also get you those links. So we'll give it another moment. I'm always fascinated by this file transfer feature, but all you have to do is click on the the item in the table there, the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, and then select download, and you'll be able to download that PDF directly to your computer or device. So I'll give everyone another moment to do that, and we can return to our presentation. Okay, great. So as I mentioned, the Apprenticeship Initiative looks at projects for over $500,000. And for these applicable projects, the goal is for the U.S. Department of Labor certified apprentices. That's not just limited to the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program graduates, but all apprentices to perform 10% of the total labor hours actually worked in each prevailing wage category of that project, or 10% of the estimated labor hours in each prevailing wage category. So either the actual or the estimated, whichever is less. Now, half of those hours are required to be performed by graduates of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. There's also the Illinois Works Climate Works Program, or IDOT's Pre-Apprenticeship Program. So we have those 10%, and then at least half of those need to be performed by graduates of those other programs. So again, just to kind of recap it, the goal is for the U.S. Department of Labor certified apprentices to perform 10% of the labor hours actually worked in each prevailing wage category, or 10% of the estimated labor hours in each prevailing wage category, whichever is less. And then half of those hours must be performed by graduates of Illinois Works, Climate Works, or the IDOT pre-apprenticeship programs. So by having this established goal, contractors will generally find themselves in need to hire more apprentices, right? That's part of the goal that Dr. Ruano had discussed in terms of assisting the construction industry in growing and stimulating that higher demand for apprentices. So the current status of the apprenticeship initiative is that it's operational and it's working on compliance with the various state agencies. The apprenticeship initiative actually launched in June of 2020 and is currently overseeing over 700 projects worth over $8 billion. So as part of the Illinois Works commitment to continuous quality improvement, in August of 2021, we launched a new system that allowed us to transition from manual quarterly reporting system. So the agencies were reporting on a quarterly basis in a very manual system to a real-time reporting system that utilizes Smartsheet. Smartsheet is a platform and tool that allows interactivity and the ability for the agencies to enter information in real time. So it's part of our compliance management platform. There are 3 Smartsheet platform task categories. There are projects, progress and compliance, and closeout. So here are some examples of what that looks like in real purposes. Smartsheet provides a new electronic process that is intuitive and user-friendly and allows for that real-time reporting to occur. For example, if an organization has 2 or more contracts, the Illinois Works Smartsheet platform allows the users to submit a mass intake spreadsheet or Smartsheet by agency in place of a singular project intake. Any agency can update the contact person, project start and end dates, total dollar amount, or any changed information. They don't need to make all this information changes at once. As the updates occur, they can submit and resubmit this form, allowing for more timely communication of critical information and greater efficiencies. So as you can see with some of the animations, it's walking through the mass intake form and ways that these can be changed. This form can be completed anytime there's a change or modification for a particular project, and it has that simple submission and there's the save process. Reports can also be accessed by agencies to ensure that their information is accurate and up to date. So after submitting that information, they can also view reports on it. The state agency is accountable for ensuring the compliance of the apprenticeship initiative. It's the responsibility of the state agencies to follow the steps that you see on your screen. And the Office of Illinois Works then proactively monitors each project to ensure that the agency is in compliance. So when considering grantee awards, loan recipients, state agencies are responsible for determining if the apprenticeship goal might apply to the project, ensuring that the grantee contractor completes the budget supplement, monitoring whether the grantee or contractor compliance is in compliance with the apprenticeship goals, reviewing any waiver or reduction requests, and then upon completion of the grant or contract, they collect certification and submit it to the office, to the DCO's Office of Illinois Works. So do we have any questions about the apprenticeship initiative? Feel
There
free to
are
unmute your
no-
line. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say there are no questions at this point in the chat.
Okay. Well, as we go through these next sections, as you know, you're welcome to post questions in the chat, or when we get to the question sections, feel free to unmute your line. So thank you, Gia. All right, our next section is about the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Of course, this is the program that is the focus of the Notice of Funding opportunity. So this is probably the one that everyone has been really waiting for. By the end of this section, you'll be able to better describe the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, explain how the program contributes to a comprehensive approach to workforce development, summarize the pre-apprenticeship program's key components, and identify the current implementation status of the pre-apprenticeship program. So again, we have our 3 programs. Our focus now will be on the pre-apprenticeship program, and let's see where it fits into that puzzle that we had talked about. So the pre-apprenticeship program is the talent pipeline. So all of these 3 are going to be working, together to really build that workforce. And the just like the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative is creating the demand for jobs, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program then creates that pipeline of diverse candidates to help respond to that demand. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program launched in 2021 and began programming in 2022 with 23 different programs. The Illinois Works Provider Network expanded in 2023 and 2024 and now includes 36 programs. So the apprenticeship program delivers pre-apprenticeship skills training through a network of community-based organizations, including community colleges, faith-based organizations, business associations, and other nonprofit entities. For our grants, we strongly encourage proposals that provide training for underrepresented populations in the trades. Participants of the program attend tuition-free and receive a stipend and other supportive services that help them address systematic barriers which may have otherwise prevented them from entering the construction industry. So next, you're seeing images of the 2024 grantee manual. Illinois Works provides the grantees with a grantee manual as a resource for instructions, guidance, tools, and expectations for program design, implementation, and delivery. Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program is a semi-structured model with program standards and outcomes, which are then outlined in that grantee manual. Guidelines that articulate structural expectations can also be found in the document. So you can access this resource by using the link that has been shared in the chat. A thorough review of this will give you a better understanding of what is required of grantees, what the program really is all about, and may help you better respond to the NOFO application. Keep in mind that a 2025 grantee manual is currently under development, and it will be available to all grantees that wind up receiving funding for the 2025 grant year. Are there any questions regarding this grantee manual?
See, there are no questions in the chat.
Okay, great. Again, I highly encourage you to utilize that link and download it and review the grantee manual. So I touched already on some of the core concepts of the pre-apprenticeship program, but let me summarize here. So pre-apprenticeship skills training is then performed through a network of community-based nonprofit organizations that includes, community colleges and other entities. While the program is certainly open to all residents of Illinois, preference is given to underrepresented populations that have historically encountered barriers to entry or to advancement in the trades. That includes minorities, women, and veterans. All the things that we saw when Dr. Ruano had gone through the demographic information. Another hallmark of the program is that it is always tuition free, and that participants who are in the program also receive a stipend. there has been $25 million appropriated for the Illinois Works funds for the grant program. So our current status is in this year, this program year, 2024, we have 31 different grantees. I mentioned that we already have 36 different grants across the state of Illinois, and that's seen as an $18.3 million investment in the program. So of those 36 grants, the average award was $510,000, $510,629 actually. Our present network of providers has the capacity to serve approximately 1,700 Illinois residents in all but one economic development region of the state of Illinois. And we're certainly focused on trying to ensure that economic development region is also covered through this NOFO. Our goal with this year's NOFO is to grow the provider network to 40 to 45 providers covering that entire state. And we project a capacity to serve 2,000 Illinois residents. This would be the maximum capacity of the program, and it's the capacity with which we plan to operate with into the future. So one of the other points that Dr. Ruano had made was about the fact that the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program is a performance-based model. This means that expense reimbursement is directly related to the tangible results that the programs produce. This is done through 4 different metrics that are linked to a program's funding, and they include participant enrollment, participant completion, participant transition, and closeout reports. So each of those participant funding benchmarks are divided by the program's goals for the different benchmarks. So the enrollment benchmark, we divide that by the number of, the goal of enrolled participants. We take the completion benchmark funding and divide that by the number of participants that are projected to complete for that goal. And then finally, for the transition metric, we take the number of participants who are set to transition based on the goal of the award into a U.S. Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program. What that does is allows us to look at the various benchmarks and calculate a per participant allotment. So each of these metrics or funding benchmarks represents obviously a specific percentage of the grant award. You'll notice that completion and transition together represent 65% of the grant award funding. So that puts the primary focus truly on the program outcomes. So if you're interested in learning more about the Illinois Works performance-based payment model, and I certainly hope you are, be sure to attend the upcoming session on August 15th, in which we will focus solely on the performance-based payment model of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Some information regarding that registration has just been placed into the chat. You can also find, of course, the registration on our NOFO page. So next, I'd like to talk to you about the Illinois Works reporting system. So similar to the Apprenticeship Initiative's Smartsheet platform, Illinois Works is committed to leveraging technology for continuous quality improvement, and that includes IWRS, so the Illinois Works reporting system. The Office of Illinois Works created in partnership with the Southern Illinois University Center for Workforce Development, the IWRS system. It was fully launched in February of 2022. And due to the custom design, IWRS allows grantees to track pre-apprenticeship program inquiries, participants, grantee partnerships, and all of the outcomes associated with the program. This system allows the programs to track that key information about their participants' progress throughout their engagement with the program. That includes their inquiries, their applications, enrollment, announcements, career and support service assessments, enrollment in training modules, attendance, training completion, really every facet of the program that they see on the ground, we can track through IWRS. As of January 29th of this year, IWRS has tracked over 6,000 engagements with Illinois Works grantees. So you can see some of those on the screen just now. Next up, we will talk about the pre-apprenticeship life cycle. As you go through various trainings, we highlight these as critical to the understanding of the program. So the pre-apprenticeship program requirements get outlined in the pre-apprenticeship life cycle. It outlines the steps the participants take as they move through their program. It tracks their project from initial program outreach and recruitment all the way through post-transition follow-up. So each stage demonstrates an integral step in preparing participants to enroll in a DOL registered apprenticeship program. So the current status of the program as of the beginning of this year in January 29th includes over 1,400 inquiries have been made. Over 2,200 participants have been enrolled in the program. Almost 1,500 participants have been completed, and 1,133 to be exact, have transitioned in a primary or secondary type transition. So given these numbers, we are on track to serve the goal of 1,700 Illinois residents by the end of this grant period, which is December 31st, 2024. So next up, we want to talk a little bit more about how Illinois Works is focused on changing the landscape for accessing those DOL registered apprenticeship programs. So one of the tools that we have to offer and support grantees with their success is an overview of state demographic data, Illinois Works project data, and DOL registered apprenticeship programs. So this is called the Illinois Works heat map, and grantees can find information about Illinois Works programs, concentrations of underrepresented populations, information about the economic development regions of the state, Illinois Works projects by county, and then, as I mentioned, DOL registered apprenticeship programs themselves. So on this map, blue squares represent DOL registered apprenticeship programs. It allows you to find the ones that are near you or your participants in the program. For the general public, they can also access this heat map to identify the pre-apprenticeship programs that are near them. There are other information on the program, such as the map's coloring, which demonstrates the number of Illinois Works projects happening in each county, with a darker pink symbolizing higher concentrations and a darker teal representing lower concentrations. And then the red circles on the map represent the concentration of underrepresented populations, which, as we've discussed, include women individuals of color, and veterans. So the larger the circle, the higher that concentration. All right, next slide, please. So this this slide allows us to take a look at the effect of the, well, we went right by it, the effect of the pre-apprenticeship program. You saw towards the end there, here we go. In program year 2023, in the right-hand column, the number of women in the pre-apprenticeship program as it compared to the current representation in various trades at 25.1%, which is in stark contrast to the 3.2% in 2020, 4.8% in 2021, and so on. Similarly, Black or African American individuals in the 2023 pre-apprenticeship program was at 60.1%, which was a much higher rate than, again, their overall participation in the construction trades and apprenticeship programs in general. And then Hispanics, Native Americans, Asians, and veterans. We continue to work and strive to improve their representation. And you'll notice, again, in particular with Hispanics, although the number might be lower than the current representation in the trades, I'll point out again what we had mentioned earlier in the program, that the current representation in the trades is often at the much lower wage programs, general labor in trades. And so one of the stepping stones for this program is to encourage individuals and make it possible for them to move into the higher paying trades of their choice. So with that, do we have any questions regarding the information that I had just covered? No?
There are no
Okay.
questions in the chat, Dan.
Excellent. All right, well, I will hand it over to the program's other grant manager, Monica Pruitt.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning again, everyone. As he said, I am Monica Pruitt, and I am one of the pre-apprenticeship program grant managers. However, for Section 7, I will share with you information about the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program. By the end of this section, you will be able to describe the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program, explain how the Bid Credit Program contributes to a comprehensive approach to workforce development, summarize the Bid Credit Program key components, and identify the current implementation status of the Bid Credit Program. Okay. So let's move to the third DCO, Office of Illinois Works key program, the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program. The Illinois Works Initiative creates the demand for jobs. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program creates the pipeline of diverse candidates to help respond to that demand. To complete the puzzle, we have created incentives to help ensure that the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program graduates are hired and retained by contractors and subcontractors. The Illinois Works Bid Credit Program incentivizes contractors to hire and retain a diverse pool of candidates. It allows contractors and subcontractors to earn bid credits by employing apprentices who have completed the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Bid credits can be used toward future bids for public works projects contracted by the state of Illinois or any agency of the state. So, in summary, the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program allows contractors and subcontractors to earn credits for use toward future bids for public works projects contracted by the state or an agency of the state. Bid credits can only be earned by employing apprentices who have completed the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, but they can be earned by any project the graduate works on, that's public or private, union or non-union. DCO will establish the bid credit earning rates for all prevailing wage construction trades once the program rules are approved. This rate will be reviewed and revised annually. There is no maximum bid credits that can be earned by contractors and/or subcontractors, and no limit to the number of Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship graduates they can hire. The Illinois Works Bid Credit Bank is administered by DCEO as the mechanism for tracking the bid credits. Bid credits can be pooled between put together between multiple contractors and or subcontractors for a single capital funded project, but there was a maximum allowable bid credit amount for each project based on the estimated project cost. The bid credit program has launched and is a tool to support the transition of Illinois Works pre-apprentice into DOL registered apprenticeship programs. Contractors and subcontractors will qualify to get bid credits as long as Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship graduate is in a DOL registered apprenticeship program. And you should understand that it could possibly take 3, 4, or 5 years, but the contractor will still get bid credits for those hires. Next slide, please. Okay, so the bid credit tracking system. In addition to the bid credit platform that is presently under development, the applicant tracking system, or ATS as we call it, tracks graduates of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program and allows construction companies to review their resumes for hire. In addition to the bid credit program, the Illinois Works Career Services Center is the glue that holds all of the pieces of the Illinois Works puzzle together. Illinois Works recently launched the Career Services Team designed specifically to build relationships with DOL registered apprenticeship programs, or RAPs, directly connect employers and graduates through job matching, create and provide customized lists of graduates, and provide long-term transition support to graduates. The main goal of Illinois Works is to increase the number of Illinois Works pre-apprentices gaining employment and entry into the DOL registered apprenticeship program of their choice. By achieving this goal, this team directly supports the goal of connecting contractors to a highly qualified talent pipeline, which allows them to earn bid credits to be used on future capital projects funded by an agency of the state of Illinois, or to give them the ability to comply with the apprenticeship initiative. The Illinois Works Career Service Team facilitates job matching. This highly effective team works hard to ensure a seamless and efficient process. Contractors only need to submit a job order through the Illinois Works employer form and specify their employment needs. This user-friendly form allows the Illinois Works Career Services Team to send a list of Illinois Works graduates that match their job requirements. The job order form is also used by contractors to provide follow-up information about the graduates they might have screened or hired from the list they received. So next, the applicant tracking system comes into play. The Illinois Works applicant tracking system allows each of the 3 key Illinois Works programs, that being the Apprenticeship Initiative, the Pre-Apprenticeship Program, and the Bid Credit Program, to input and access critical data, enabling them to achieve their Illinois Works goals. This new database tracks Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program graduates and allows companies to review their resumes for hire. The Illinois Works applicant tracking system traces the professional qualifications and trajectory of Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program graduates. It is critically important that grantees upload their graduates to the ATS and regularly update their profile, so contractors that need to comply with the apprenticeship initiative and want to earn bid credits can hire and sponsor Illinois Works graduates. And also it should be just a reminder that participant entry into ATS is a requirement for grantees. So I just wanted to make sure we make that clear. Okay, now's the time to get back into Mentimeter. So the link has been added again to the chat. It's www.menti.com, and the code is also in the chat. Okay. So I believe you will receive characters again, so please keep track of your score. Once a question appears on the screen, you will have 10 seconds to enter your response. For select questions, you will earn points for answering questions quickly and answering quick questions accurately. And in the spirit of the Olympics, we do not have prizes, but if you are among the top scorers, you and your character will appear at the top of the leaderboard. So I think we are ready for the first question. And the first question is, which Illinois Works key program opens doors of opportunity into the construction industry and the trades by creating demand? And it looks like you have about 4 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and so the answer is the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative. So if you chose that one, that is correct. And leading on the leaderboard is, oh, is that, look, how does this work? Is that Android? Nope, it looks like Sebastian is leading. So we're going to move on to question number 2 and see if they maintain the lead. So the next question, which Illinois Works key program incentivizes contractors and subcontractors to hire and retain Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program graduates? All right, and the answer to that question is the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program. So congratulate yourself if you got that answer correct. And looking again at the leaderboard, the leaderboard's gone. We'll look after the next question. Which Illinois Works key program applies to public works projects with an estimated cost of $500,000 or more? Eight seconds. Oh, well, congratulations to everyone who said the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative. That is the correct answer to that question. And now we're going to take a look at the leaderboard, and it looks like Clippy jumped out on top. Now, Beyonce. All right, can't go wrong with Beyonce. Let's move on to the next question. Which Illinois Works key program creates a qualified talent pipeline to fill job opportunities with diverse candidates? Which of those 3 programs that we've talked about today? All right, and the answer to that question is the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. All right. And Beyonce, Sebastian, and Clippy, it looks like, are leading the pack. Okay, the next question. Which Illinois Works initiative is designed to specifically build relationships with DOL registered apprenticeship programs and connect employers and graduates through job matching? All right, that would be the very last program that I talked about, which is our Career Services Center. So congratulate yourself if you answered that one correctly and if you're moving up the leaderboard. All right. It's looking good, Beyonce and Sebastian. Okay, question 15. The Office of Illinois Works Apprenticeship Program requires real-time reporting of compliance with the 10% apprenticeship goal. Who is accountable for ensuring compliance? Who has that responsibility? All right. The answer to that question is state agencies. All right, we got lots of folks who got that correct. Okay. Next question. What tracks graduates of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program and allows construction companies to review their resumes for hire? All right, congratulations. It's the Applicant Tracking System, or ATS. And okay, Beyonce's still leading. All right, and I think this is the last question. The pre-apprenticeship program targets which underrepresented populations in the construction and building trades? Who are those underrepresented populations that we're looking to reach? Minorities is indeed one of the correct answers, women and veterans as well. Okay. Thank you all so much for participating. Congratulations to our leaders on the leaderboard. And are there any questions before we go on to the next section? If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, or you may unmute your line if you would like.
So far, Monica, there are no questions in the chat.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Gia. And with that, we'll move on to section 8, which is the DCO Notice of Funding Opportunity. And so what we're hoping to share with you in this section is how to access the DCO Notice of Funding Opportunity, or the NOFO, how to access the GATA pre-qualification training. I'd like to describe the information available from the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO 2024 website, and also how you can download the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program NOFO. So as many of you know by now, the DCO Notice of Funding Opportunity, also known as the NOFO, for the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program was released in late July. You can access the Notice of Funding Opportunity by using the link that is being shared in the chat. That's already there. Thank you, Carlita. The goal of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program is to provide grants to community-based organizations, which includes accredited public colleges and universities or coalitions throughout the state that will recruit, pre-screen, and provide pre-apprenticeship skills training. Successful grantees will also be expected to provide pathways and manage the transition from the pre-apprenticeship program to a full apprenticeship program in construction and the building trades. Presently, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program funds programs throughout the state of Illinois. This NOFO is focused on awarding grants in geographic areas where the Office of Illinois Works does not presently have pre-apprenticeship programs, and to increase the representation of underrepresented groups that presently are not served or are underserved by existing programs. So our 2024 Illinois Works grantees, presently we fund 36 programs located throughout the state of Illinois that represent 5 different models. We currently fund school districts, small and medium nonprofit organizations, large nonprofits, several community colleges, and also business associations. The focus for the 2024 NOFO is focused on awarding grants in geographic areas where the Office of Illinois Works does not presently have pre-apprenticeship programs, with the goal of increasing the representation of underrepresented groups that presently are not served or underserved. Populations specifically targeted are Asians, veterans, and women. Geographic priority areas include Region 1, Sangamon County, Region 3, Peoria County and also McLean County, Region 4, including DeKalb County, DuPage County, Kane, Kankakee, Kendall, McHenry County, suburban Cook County, and also Will County. Region 6 includes LaSalle County, Rock Island County, and Whiteside County. And then finally, in the southern region, or Region 8, we are targeting Jackson County. Illinois Works is also seeking to increase recruitment, training, and transition for populations that are currently underserved, which again, we're speaking of veterans, Asian Americans, and women, among others. Illinois Works plans to fund up to 35 new grantees to join our renewal grantees to create a network of 40 to 45 providers with a capacity to serve over 1,800 Illinois residents. New grantees can be either experienced or inexperienced providers, large or small, as long as your organization has the ability to reach the underrepresented populations and can effectively serve them. Please understand, however, these are our areas of focus. However, applicants outside of these regions will receive consideration as well. Okay, let's talk a little bit about our experienced and new providers. So this NOFO will consider organizations that have experience and a trajectory delivering construction, pre-apprenticeship, and other construction training programs. Applicants that have not operated a pre-apprenticeship program but have experience serving the underrepresented populations are encouraged to apply in partnership with other relevant organizations that have experience in effective design and delivery of the required services. We also have existing Illinois Works grantees. Existing Illinois Works grantees can submit an application in response to this NOFO if they are proposing to serve a different geographic area or economic development region beyond the one they are currently contracted to serve. If you are an existing Illinois Works grantee, we hope that you will be eligible to receive an invitation for renewal later on this fall. However, if that is not the case, this process cannot be used for renewal consideration. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about the GATA pre-qualification website. This first step in this process is your Grant Accountability and Transparency Act pre-qualification, also known as your GATA pre-qualification. You can access the GATA website, and I believe the link was just placed in the chat. Okay. You are encouraged to attend our GATA pre-qualification training. Session offerings are available on the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO 2024 website. For your convenience, that link is also being placed in the chat, but please mark your calendars for Tuesday, August 13, 2024. If you are unable to attend a live session, you can access a recording of the training from the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO 2024 website. Please note, however, it takes approximately 5 business days to post the webinar for the recording to be available. In addition to the GATA pre-qualification training information, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO 2024 website has all of the information you will need in order to apply for a grant for the next fiscal year. You can access the Illinois Works 2024 NOFO website using the link that has been shared in the chat. The website offers a wealth of information and support regarding funding for the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, including program background, program design, frequently asked questions, NOFO materials, funding information, submission deadlines, award timeline, resources, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the next slide or two, and also information sessions, which we will talk a little bit more about in just a moment. The top bar of the website will provide you with information regarding English, Spanish translation, and also partners. So the resources we talked about. In addition, the website provides the following information: NOFO references, resources for competitive applications, resources on national best practices for pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs, resources on national best practices for equity, pre-apprenticeship, and apprenticeship programs. Additional session offerings are available on the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO 2024 website, and that can be found at the bottom of that page. You can access that website again with the link that has been shared in the chat. Please keep in mind, if you are unable to attend a live session, you can access a recording of the training from the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO 2024 website. And the registration link will be placed at the time that the recording is posted. The registration link will be replaced with the recording link. To download the NOFO, go to NOFO Materials on the right side of the screen and select Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO. Everything you need to successfully complete the NOFO is available for you on this website. All right, let's do another practice round. We will see what a good job I did. See if you can answer the next round of questions based on the information that was presented in the last couple of sections. So, are we ready for the first question? Okay. The first step in this process is your Grant Accountability and Transparency Act GATA pre-qualification, also known as your GATA pre-qualification. Is that true or false? Excellent. Everybody's leading on the leaderboard. The answer was true. Good job, everyone. Okay, the next question. Illinois Works has a pre-apprenticeship program NOFO 2024 website, which offers a wealth of information and support. Is that true or false? Excellent. Again, the answer is true. Okay. Next question. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program NOFO 2024 website provides an assessment that tells you the probability of getting funded. Okay. That answer is most definitely false. There is no assessment that tells you the probability of you getting funded. However, the instructions included in the NOFO are extremely detailed, so if you follow those directions, your chances definitely increase. Okay, and last, you can register for upcoming training sessions under, and I believe this is a fill in of the blank question. Where can you register for upcoming training sessions? Very good. Please congratulate yourselves if you chose information sessions. Okay, there are a couple more questions. If you have any questions about the NOFO or Illinois Works, I can send a communication to ceo.illinoisworks@illinois.gov. If you have any questions, you can use that email address to have those answered, true or false. Okay, and the answer is true. All right, now actually the last question. And then we'll check that leaderboard to see who won. If I need information relevant to the NOFO NOFO or a copy of the NOFO, I can find it on the following DCO website, www.dco.illinois.gov. Okay. The answer is, well, we're going to say false. The NOFO can be found on the DCO website. However, it is highly advisable that you use the NOFO website, as that information is always going to be accurate, and that would be the place that you can always find the latest and the greatest information related to the NOFO. So please use the Illinois Works NOFO website for 2024. And with that, it looks like Beyonce was the winner. Congratulations, Beyonce. We appreciate your and everyone else's participation. All right, and I think that's it for me. Please use that email address there in the event that you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, hey, it's been a great morning and we've covered a ton of ground. I want to thank you all for your attendance. We do want to collect some feedback on today's session as it helps us and our presenters understand how we can continuously improve something that we're passionately committed to here at Illinois Works. So I'm going to go back into your Mentimeter again, and you have that information. It's the same login information as we've been doing the scoring. And I've got just a few questions for you I'd like to respond to. So the first here is, please share your views on this training by rating the following statements from lowest to 1 to 10 highest. To what extent did it meet your expectations? How likely are you to attend a similar event in the future? How likely are you to recommend this training to others? Again, if you'd give us a score on today's webinar, we really would appreciate getting your feedback and help us know how we did putting all this together for you. So again, just remember that the numbers don't always come in the order that to sometimes Mentimeter shuffles them, but 10's the highest, 1's the lowest. How did we do? Did we hit the mark or not? And thank you for those hearts that you're throwing out there as well. Appreciate it. Definitely a lot of time and effort went into this and the team putting it together. Thank you for that feedback. I got some more questions for you. The course was relevant to what you wanted to learn about this subject. Strongly disagree to strongly agree. 1's the disagree. 5 is the agree. Strongly agree. So where would you put it? How would you put this on your scoring there? How was the course relevant to what you wanted to learn about today's subject matter on our introduction to Illinois Works? Somewhat agree, some strongly agree. All right, so a little variation there. Got a split. Keep going. We'll love to hear from all of you. So if you would, please, even if you didn't log in for the questions, want to get as much feedback as we can. So really appreciate it. Again, looks like somewhat agree. Thank you for that. Going to keep moving on. I plan to apply what I learned. You're going to use this information on NOFO and Illinois Works. Is it helpful? Is it something you can apply in your organization and to do your work and to do the jobs that you do? Each of you would. Again, 1 being strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree. How would you rate it? Looks like we got a strongly agree is in the lead there to somewhat agree. Appreciate it. For those that are providing this feedback, very much appreciated. And then what improvements might you recommend? If we could make today on our introduction to Illinois Works more effective for you, more beneficial, what would have been something we could have covered or how we could have done it differently? Any suggestions? If you don't have anything, we just love you just to say NA. Just give us an NA and that's fine too. But if you have an idea on how we could make it better, we really want to know because we're here to serve you and get you what you need. So looks like we got some NAs coming in. All right. Any feedback again is definitely appreciated on what improvements might you recommend. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for planning to provide the recording. Yep. And then what did you find effective? If we make changes, is there anything that you were like, man, they really don't you really want to keep this, really recommend you keep this section. This section of the webinar or this content in the webinar was really valuable to you. You want to make sure we don't miss it or leave that out. What would that be? All right, got one response. So again, NA, if you don't have anything that specific that you're worried about us changing, you can put that in there as well. More on the pre-apprenticeship NOFO. Okay, thank you for that. All right. And this is our first of many sessions on the NOFO as we continue to dive into it. So I hope you get to come to some more of these too. Please provide the PowerPoint slides in addition to the recording. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, we're gonna, is there anything else about the course you think we should know? Any last parting comments, something that you'd want to tell us? And again, any comments here? Just want to, it didn't fit under maybe one of the other responses. Boy, you wish we would have asked. Thank you. Thank you for saying thank you too. Again, we appreciate that. Again, a lot of time and effort goes in behind the scenes to pull all this together to support it. But if you have additional responses that come in, this is not the only time or place, right? We've mentioned several times the email. You can send us a note. You can talk to your grant manager for those existing grantees, and we'd love to hear from you. Again, thank you, Dr. Ruano, Dan, and Monica for your time and the presentation today. You guys did great. And thank you for attending and being a part of today's session. We can't have this without you, so we're glad you joined today. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you in our next upcoming training webinar.